Welcome back, folks. If you have not watched the part 1 of this video, you should definitely watch that first before coming to this video, because in that video I speak about the basics of Xstate and how we created this machine, this big machine, to have our state, and which changes when you click on the button, and it's pretty cool. So you should definitely check out that video first. And I realized that there was a tiny bit of issue with the recording, that's why entire screen was not captured. But when I checked the footage, the code pretty much got captured in the video, and like only the sides were not captured. I think that's ideally not fine, but I don't want to retake the video, so we have to go with that. Okay, so in this video what we're going to do here is, if we go to our reference video, reference project first. So as you can see here, in each of the states we can have some other state as well. So so there's one parent machine, and then each of the UI, they have separate machines. So we're going to learn how to hook these together. Okay, so to do that we need to have some context or some memory. So let's name our machines. Let's say UI1 machine, which initially is undefined, and then we need UI2 machine and UI3 machine. So UI1 machine we have, I didn't write one, fine, UI2 machine and UI3 machine. So initially these machines are undefined. Now depending, okay, now when we call invoke, now let's do something simple first. Okay, let's remove the current state, because we can already see that it is working pretty fine. So we don't need this anymore. So after we remove this, let's give a HR tag as well, just to separate things out. And I would ideally like the HR tag to be below this, so that we can nicely mark these two. Okay, so let's have okay, so we're going to have one more state inside these separate UIs. So it's going to be pretty simple, but you can extend it to as much complicated state as possible. When I'm saying state, I mean machine. So okay, so each of the UIs, they're going to have, oops, I need to refresh, I think. Okay, fine. So let's do something. Initially let's render one image, and then when I click on a button, let's say toggle, two images show up. So let's do this for each of the UI. So it's going to be fun, and it's not going to be overly complicated, and we can kind of reuse the same machine, or not rather the same machine, but the same machine model. So let's create a factory function within quotes, factory function. But this is nothing but just creating a function which is going to render a new machine each time whenever I pass in some object. So let's call our factory function as get child machine, and it's going to give us a new machine each time, and each of the machine is going to have an ID of, let's take the name from here. So ID is going to be name, and it's going to have some states obviously, and it's there will be two states here, show 1, and another state will be show 2. Fine. And the initial state will be show 1. Fine. And there will be some events. So on toggle, if I am on show 1, the target is going to be show 2, and if I am on show 2, it's going to listen to some event, and on toggle is going to go to a target, show 1. So we have that. I think that's fine. Now let's hook this up. Okay, so whenever I invoke the function in loading the asynchronous call, we need to save this value in context as well. So on done, I think it's going to come in assign. No, as what was it called? And check the docs. Guides. Let's see what action on done and action. Fine. So shit, am I missing something? So okay, on done, target and action. Okay, yeah. So on done, target and some action. Action is going to be assign. Okay, we need to first get the assign. So we're going to have assign something, and that is UI1 machine is going to be. Okay, we need one more thing, which is spawn. So with this we are going to spawn a new machine. So spawn, and what's the function name? Get child machine. So get child machine, and then let's put the name UI1. So what this is going to do is, when it's going to go to the target state UI1, it's going to assign a state machine to UI1. Yes, so in our context, UI1 machine is going to now hold the state machine for the UI1 UI. Fine, let's do the same thing for UI2 as well. So UI2 machine is going to be UI2 machine, and same thing for UI3. Fine, so UI3 machine, and it's right here UI3 machine. Okay, so we have our state machines here. Now let's provide these machines to the children. So the way we do that is in current. So we have the machines in, okay, I'll just show you. So we can access the context in this way. So current dot context, as simple as that. So as you can see, initially these are undefined, and then later this, yes, so you have one machine is defined here. So actually this is a mistake. It doesn't matter which UI renders, but all the state machines should be defined. So we should actually define all of them. So each one should be defining all of them, and UI3 as well here, because it doesn't matter that if it is UI1 or UI2, UI3, or rather actually we don't need this here as well, because these things can go in the initial definition itself. I mean, why wait for the API call to finish and then to show? Because anyway we know that all these three UIs are going to be rendered, right? So there's no point in doing this. So we can remove these actions from here. We can get rid of all the actions basically. But this would be useful if we don't want to load all the machines in our context upfront. Maybe we can have that at a later point in time depending on the API response. Then that would have solved to do that in the response. But since we need them all upfront, so it makes sense to have them upfront. Okay, so we can access them with access the context with current.context. So if I refresh, so initial current context initial current or context should have been, oh yeah, whenever it starts it always has the context, so that's fine. So all our context is always here. Fine. So let's remove this. So whenever you are making yeah, this is one thing which you need to do. Okay, so instead of calling UI1 like this, let's call UI1 as a component, and let's pass in context as current dot context dot UI1 machine. Fine. Let's do the same thing for UI2 and UI3. So UI2 machine, and this is going to be UI3 machine. And since we are assigning the machines from current.context, not configuration, and since we're accessing the context value, so we need to update this, write this here as well, like in the dependency list we need to update this. So let's do that. UI3 machine, same with UI2 machine, and then finally UI1 machine. Fine. So we have this here now. So context is being passed to the child UIs. So UI start with UI3. So we now have context here. Let's just console log this. Fine. So let's refresh this and let's check what happens. So I'm going to UI3. We are getting the what is this? The machine. So each of the machines is going to have some context by itself, right? So we need to do that. So context is no, it doesn't need context because it depends on the value. So let's write it here. So our condition is, if I don't like the name context, let's rename this to machine, and here let's rename this to machine as well, because to the child components these are machines, right? These are individual machines which is Xstate machine. So here in the condition let's write if machine dot matches, and the condition, the states are show 1 and show 2. If it matches show 1, then show 1 of the emoji, else show 2 of the emojis. Fine. Why is it complaining? Unexpected character of this part. I'm making a mistake. Fine, let's go here. Let's refresh. Let's go here. Machine that matches. Okay, let's do something. Let's write. Let's console this. Console log machine. Okay, we need the initial also. I think we have initial. Initial is show 1. So machine dot value. Machine dot value. Let's see. Machine value is undefined. Why is it becoming undefined? Okay, so let's debug this first. Let's give some dummy condition here. So let's 1 equal to 1, and let's debug this. So why is this not working? uh, current.context.ui machine 3, let's say. So let's console log this. Okay, now in UI3 let's do console log this machine as well and see what difference we're getting in both the situations. So UI3 is definitely a machine here, ID3, and okay, and if I write here machine dot value, what is going to give us undefined. Interesting. So how did I do the same thing here then? So this is also has initial step 1 toggle go to something, that's fine. And here in the UI3, let's say I have context state dot value. Yeah, value was definitely accessible here. So why is value not? Oh, we need to use useService, right? I totally forgot this useService thing, right? And that's the advantage of having some code written previously. So we need const is equal to use machine and current and send. So same thing here. So if current dot matches step 1, then do something else. So if I refresh and if I go to step 3, what what's wrong? Machine dot with config is not a function, but wait, so I'm using useService here. Okay, fine, it's going to useService then. Okay, and if I go to UI3, interesting. So if I do current dot value, then so does it work? Let's put some demo and dummy value here again. Refresh and check if this works. So why is this not working? What is it saying? Can I read property value of undefined? By is machine undefined? Okay, something is wrong. Let's see. This is useService and service, whatever context I'm having, and then button toggle and state dot value. State is this state, fine. So if I close this and if I just console log machine here, so UI3 is definitely is a machine which is coming here. Let's remove the console statement here because we don't need this anymore. And let's do one more thing. If the state is loading, then let's give a loading UI. So on the UI, let's do something. If current dot matches loading, then return div loading with the proper spelling. If if I refresh this, initially everything is loading and then the UI loads up fine. So if I go to UI 3, I definitely have the object here, but current is undefined or something. So I have machine and current. So refresh again and check. Current is undefined. Why is current undefined here now? So I'm going to pause the video because I want to figure this out, and then let's resume. Alright folks, so I found my mistake, and as you can see here, if I define the spawned machine in the context like this, then I get a error, error message as a warning. It says attempted to spawn an actor outside of a service. This will have no effect. So then I was looking in the documentation, and then I find this. So the gist of this is we can only spawn actors in response to a service, and they would have their ref. If we can store that ref in the context, but the main idea is we can only spawn actors, or actors mean different another machine in the response of a service. So that's that. So we need to change this. We need to change our definitions. Actually I already did that, and here it is. So very okay, so this is a service, invoking a service. So yeah, this is a service which invokes some function, and on done we need to do some actions, and in the assign so in the assign method we define the machines. So let's do this for all our conditions, and then we will have proper machines to work with. Fine. So now if I refresh the page, and I will see probably yes, so this is interpreter. So this is what we need actually. So this will work now. So I'll remove this console statement, and in UI 3 let's do so current dot value, and this will also work. So to refresh, I think loading, and UI 3 fine, it works. So current dot value is show 1. Now let's do something. So if current dot matches show 1, then show 1, else into show 2. So let's have a button here within a paragraph. Let's have this button. Toggle, and let's have a on click listener, and this is going to send toggle. So this should work fine, amazing. So this works. So let's do the same thing for UI 1 and UI 2. Okay, so let's copy and paste this entire thing to UI 1, and let's cut this thing, and let's remove the existing content, and let's paste this twice, and let's paste this once, and let's copy this and paste this in UI 2, and let's copy this. Basically I'm replacing the icons, so nothing much going on here. So if I go back to app 1, and then if I refresh, so I have 1. If I toggle, I have 2. If I start to scroll down, I think this is occupying so much space because of probably the font size. Font size is 80 pixels, so if I reduce this, this should go down, but I think it's fine for now. If I have this as a big thing, it's not a big deal, I think. So go to UI2, toggle two things, go to UI3, I have one. If I go back to UI2, I still have two things. So it keeps this in state, and I think this is pretty awesome about this feature. So UI1, toggle two things. So we learned a lot of things in this video. So we learned how to read documentation. Apparently I did not read this documentation clearly, and this is one more thing which I would like to talk about. Like when you're starting with a project, don't like, you should definitely read the documentation, but don't get stuck in reading the documentation. Also, like, move forward. If, like, just build a project, and if you make a mistake, then go back and reread the documentation, and then when you read it again after making a mistake, you will never forget the thing ever. So that's that. And so let's read this once. So treat cons actor ref, or the reference to the new actor, just as a normal value in context. You can place this actor ref anywhere within context, obviously based on your logic requirements, as long as within an assignment function in assign, it will be scoped to the service from where it was spawned. Fine. So never call spawn externally, which is what I did, and this did not work. Spawn is not an action creator. Yes, this does not work as well. So this do not assign spawn outside of an assignment function. Yes, yes, so this works. And okay, so this is not an assignment function, so it's just a function, so this doesn't work, so it has to be an assignment function. Fine. Okay, so there are also ways to send events from parent to child and from child to parent, but let's not go into all those details right now. So this looks pretty fine. And one more thing I wanted to show was, if I go here and if I open my inspector, and if I go to components, and if I select highlight on update, so if I hit toggle here, see, only this part changes but not the entire DOM tree. So this is pretty cool, I think. So if I go to UI2, entire thing obviously changes because this thing changes as expected, but here only this is limited to this scope, so this is pretty cool also. So here, so we learned how to spawn another machine from a machine, and then how to use a service. So this is why it was called use service, because this machine is actually a service, so I can rename this to service. And yeah, that's it for this video. If you like it, do give a thumbs up, and I will try to use more state machine. I'll make more state machine videos in the future as I learn more about it. So that's it for this video, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Thank you.